Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, with me again. Before continuing, let me introduce myself. I am Miftachul Jannah from Chemistry, Kelas B, Faculty of Science Technology, UIN Maulana Malik Ibrahim Malang. And here I will explain about chemistry hazard. Many of the chemicals we use in the lab are potentially dangerous, especially under high heat, pressure, or when they are mixed with other chemicals. There are two main tools that we use to identify chemical hazards: safety datasheets and chemical labels. Every chemical in the lab is required to have a technical document called a safety datasheet or SDS, usually provided by the manufacturer. These were formerly known as Material Safety Datasheets or MSDS. The safety datasheet is a one-stop shop to find out about a chemical's properties, hazard, and safety precaution. Now, the location of the safety datasheets in your lab and review them before working with a chemical for the first time. GSS is an acronym for the Globally Harmonized System of Classification and Labeling of the Chemicals. This new system provides an international standard format for safety datasheets. All SDS must now be organized into 16 sections. Section 1, Identification. Here you will find the chemical's name description and the manufacturer contact information. 2. Hazard Identification. This section lists signal, words, warnings, and safety symbols. 3. Composition. A list of ingredients. 4. First aid measures. What the required treatment for a person who's been exposed. 5. Firefighting measures. 6. Accidental release measures. These are instructions for containment and cleanup of spills or leaks. 7. Handling and storage requirement. 8. Exposure controls and personal protection. This describes uses exposure limits and recommendations for PPE. 9. Physical and chemical properties such as appearance, odor, pH, flash point solubility, and evaporation rate. 10. Stability and reactivity, how to avoid hazardous reaction. 11. Toxicological information, find out about the likely routes of exposure, symptoms as well as short and long-term effect. Section 12 into 16 are not mandatory, but you should at least be familiar with them. Ecological, disposal, transport, and regulatory consideration. Then Section 16 is for any other pertinent information. This is where you will find that the SDS was prepared along with the last known revision. Safety datasheets provide a lot of information about how to use chemicals safely in the lab. But there is also another way to learn about a chemical and that's by reading its label. The new GHS format requires chemical in the lab to be labeled with the product name, a signal word such as danger or caution, physical, health, and environmental hazard statement, precautionary statement, pictograms, first aid instruction, and the supplier's contact information. Pictograms and consist of a symbol on a white background framed in a red border. Each pictogram represents a specific hazard: heat, flammability, toxicity, compressed gases, skin and eye protection, unstable explosives, oxiders. An oxider is a chemical that induces combustion through the release of oxygen. Environmental hazard and acute toxicity. Now you know how to identify potential chemical hazard by looking at both safety datasheets and chemical labels. Thank you. I'm sorry if I wrong a pronunciation, and wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.